about my love? Seems you have forgotten love. I do believe that something went wrong somewhere. What about my feelings? Do they mean anything at all? You got me so in love, too blind to see. But you got my love, now you wanna put me down. And that you got my love, got me standing on shaky ground. What about it, baby? What about the days and the nights we spent? What about the love we made so sweet? Are you sure you wanna live? Think it over, baby. Girl, I believe. I think you just might wanna change your mind.
Good evening, beautiful people. How's everybody doing on this Sunday fun day? I hope you're doing really, 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 really well. This is Relationship Sunday night here on Intellectual Voices of Change, the house that Earl built. And I'm so happy that you're taking the time to listen to the show today because we have a show for you. And guess who's going to be my guest? My guest for Relationship Sunday is going to be typically an ongoing Khalid Scott. And Dr. Scott is here, and we're going to let him jump in because he has a lot of news to share with us. The topic today is going to be on the unfairness of infidelity. I think everyone can relate to infidelity, possibly. And if you haven't, good for you. But if you have, you know how unfair it is. Particularly, well, I'm gonna let Dr. Scott talk about that. But before he talks about it, you know, I always start out with the scripture. So the scripture is from Jeremiah 29:11, and it goes, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." And that's his plans for you. With that being said, I'm going to bring Dr. Scott in and let him tell you a little bit about himself. In the meantime, we have the comment box open. Give me your comments. Say hello to him. Say hello to me. You know, it's been a week. I took off a week or two. I was doing some theater and it was so much fun. And if you missed it, shame on you, but you lost out. But it was a good time. Still getting my voice back. Here we go right now. Dr. Scott, tell the audience something about yourself.
All right. Good evening. Happy Sunday, everyone. This is Khalid Scott. Your friendly neighborhood marriage and individual therapist. And I hope everyone is well, and I hope we all are preparing for the spring season. You know, often I see that when the springtime comes, people start feeling themselves, right? Because in the winter and fall, you kind of hibernate. But now you start wanting to shed off all the big clothes and the sweaters and the furs and heavy clothing, and you want to get, nice and loose. And when we get nice and loose, we forget our business. So it's always good to celebrate the spring and the warm weather, but let's do it responsibly and be safe, guys, because we also know, at least here in the Chicagoland area, spring and summertime means high numbers of people hurting each other. So please be careful out here in the streets.
Thank you, Khalid. I want you to tell them something about your background. Normally, I'm the one who loves to brag on all the things that you've done and all of your accolades. And I know it's sometimes hard to brag on yourself. But come on, give us that elevator speech.
Got you. Again, my name is Khalid Scott. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I've been in practice of doing other business of social work going on 29 years. 25 years of that has been providing therapy services to men, women, children, and families alike. I'm a proud dad of a beautiful 19-year-old college junior who will be a junior coming up soon. And, I'm Kathleen Scott's son. And I'm a product of somebody from the hood, from a single parent home who made it. And I think I have a tale and a testimony that anything you put your mind to, it can be done with the grace of God and having a good spirit about yourself. And as Issa Rae said at one of those award shows, I really want us to win, all of us to win. And that's why we're going with this topic today about the unfairness of infidelity.
Ooh, and that's a great segue.
Yes.
Let's jump right into it, because when you talk about the unfairness of infidelity, in a case like that, it's typically two people involved.
Yes.
And so the unfairness is normally targeted. The one who is treated unequitably or unfair is the one who was wronged.
Yes.
And
yes.
It was interesting because you had some really good examples, and I hope people can get on. And if you're on, call someone, tell someone to get on, because Khalid breaks it down. You had some instances. The one that struck me was Wendy Williams.
Yes.
We're going to talk about all of them. Hopefully you can talk about all of them. But first of all, I do want to find out I want you to look on your page and make sure it's showing up on your page.
It's on my page.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's start with Wendy Williams. Man, the demise of Wendy Williams. And I'm not saying that the infidelity is what caused her to be sick, but I know it stress can make anything worse. Go ahead. Right. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know what? That's why you're my partner in love, Janice. I don't want to say crime. My partner in love, because that's it right there. That one of the messages that I get out about, especially about infidelity, that it destroys. It destroys anyone and everyone who's involved, right? So any of the people who love the person who cheats and who is cheated on is affected. And as we see with the Wendy Williams situation, she married a man. Wendy Williams grew up with a dad. So we always got this mindset that especially if a young woman grows up with a dad, she has a foundation.
Right.
She has a role model to say, I want this person to be like daddy, especially if daddy was the good guy.
Right.
Especially if daddy did what he was supposed to do. So it appeared that Wendy Williams had that dad. He's my alpha brother. And if we all saw her bio movie that came on Lifetime, we see that she has made very questionable choices when it came to men. Very questionable. And she said it throughout the biopic, that I choose for protection. I choose because I desire, this type of love, but it's a hard love. And when we love on people who have a heart and soul and spirit and heart, it sets us up. So she married a man who early on said he protected her, but then his con, that was his pro, but his con was he slept around with other women, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened was, and I tell people all the time, once you cheat that first time and your mate forgives you, what you have done, or the unwritten rule now is, let me cheat again, but let me be careful. Maybe.
If you care a little bit.
If you care a little bit. But also the message that's been projected is, she'll forgive me. He'll forgive me. I'll do it again. And this is what he did. And this time, a baby came about. And as you see, Wendy Williams' life spiraled from there. A successful talk show host, a producer, it got to the point where she was worth $50 million. But remember, she had substance abuse issues, mental health issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of that got brought to the surface because her husband decided, Wendy wasn't enough.
And then the way he did it publicly, the proximity of where he purchased the girl's house, like
Yes.
within a quick 5-10 minute drive away. It was on the news and media. It wasn't like she was like a me or someone down the street. And if she's going through this, no one knows. And even then, it's probably equally devastating. But to be a Wendy Williams at the top of her game, coming from where she came from.
Yes.
And to have that happen publicly. And like you said, she had pre-existing things anyway. She had mental health issues. She had drug abuse issues. She had physical ailments, which, I mean, you keep living, most of us will have something physical.
Absolutely.
And everything just got, like you said, it just spiraled out of control.
Right. And so now somebody say, well, Khalid, where's the unfairness? So what happens is because Wendy makes her money, her fame is based on what? Gossip.
Yeah.
So then you had people, the critics saying, that's what she gets. She's able to talk about everybody else's, liabilities, shortcomings. And now here she is on the front street and she can't handle it. Right? Yeah. Well, you know what? That's where you have to kind of have a heart of discernment. This is what she did for a living. And if people really did not like her being a gossip columnist, then don't tune in.
You could have shut her down, right?
You could have shut her down years ago.
Right.
But we all like salaciousness.
Yes, that's true.
We all love salaciousness. We want to hear what our idols are going through because what happens is, that makes them human just like me.
And it makes me feel better that they have bigger problems than I do with all that money and beauty and everything else.
Absolutely. So we're all kind of twisted.
Yeah.
So instead of people rallying her saying, wow, let's show her love and support, it's like, that's what she gets. So that's the unfairness. So here she is. She was victimized by her husband cheating on her, but she became the villain. And the people get on him, of course. But what happens is his behavior is we're so used to seeing it. Where it was like, okay, he had a baby by another woman.
And so what,
So what, right? So then let's go to the next celebrity, So let's go to, who else did I have on that list?
You had a lot. You had Beyonce on that list with
Right. So we have Beyonce, right? So now this one is kind of a little bit more, we kind of a little bit empathic because we love Beyonce.
People do.
You know what I'm saying? We've been knowing her since she was a teenage girl.
Right.
And then she's beautiful.
Yes, she is.
She's beautiful.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. Right. She has been known as being called the most the architect of what a beautiful Black woman should look like.
Yeah.
Right. So then, how could her husband, who we all know, and he's not the most handsomest guy, but when you're rich, you look really good.
Yeah.
You look really good when you're rich.
Yeah.
Right.
Kevin Samuels taught us that, right?
Right. And so he cheats on her. The sister jumps on him in the elevator, and then people is like, wow. Well, something must be wrong with Beyonce.
And why do they always
cheat on her?
And that's just what they said. Beyonce is probably crazy like Hailey Berry. They always say that. Let's talk about that. Talk about.
Well, what happens is because we don't know them intimately, because we're not on the phone at 2:00 in the morning talking to her, right? We don't know all the details. We make assumptions.
True.
We make assumptions. And so we say, well, she married a no good guy. He used to be a drug dealer. She knew that he dated everybody in the industry. You know what I'm saying? So why would this girl, again, who had a daddy at home, Matthew knows. But look how dysfunctional Matthew was.
Yeah,
because Matthew had outside children, right? So she saw her mom stay with her dad for the longest. And so what happens is we teach our kids behaviors that we think are acceptable. Well, my mama stuck with my dad. You know what I'm saying? So why would I not stick with Jay-Z? And so then what happens with Blue? and Remy, her two daughters. You know what I'm saying? What happens when they become grown women?
But do you think, I know this is the time that it came out publicly. I don't know if he's been doing this throughout the marriage. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. But do you think, I mean, I don't know her either. I don't know anything about her. Do you think she would stay with him indefinitely if he was a serial cheater like that? Because that's what she saw and grew up with?
Right. Remember, I can only go by patterns.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So her mom eventually did leave dad, but her and her sister were grown women.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Right? And then when somebody is doing something and you have to deal with it in the public like that and the humiliation that goes with it, then yes, I guess you get the strength to say, you know what, I don't have to take it. But again, do I leave my husband, who is the third richest black man in America? You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Well, let's talk about that, because I kind of mentioned Kevin Samuels because the past couple of days, anyway, I don't know why, but I've been listening to some of his crazy tapes.
Right.
And some of them aren't so crazy, and some of them are real crazy, and they're very salacious, and people love it. But
yes.
You know, do you think? And I guess Hoover would be considered a high value man. Do you think women would be more prone to stay with a man that makes a lot of money, who's a serial cheater, than one who's average, or because of women love so emotionally that they would probably? It doesn't matter how much money he makes. In your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's the latter, sweetie. When a woman loves a man, she loves with everything, right? And whether he's broke, I work with homeless veterans, and they have more girlfriends than the law will allow.
Homeless veterans?
I had a veteran. He got his first apartment, because I work in a homeless program. He got his first apartment in his 60s. So I asked him, where have you been since your 20s? Why haven't you got an apartment, sir? He said, I've been living with my broads.
Oh,
and I just so happened to ask him, I'm like, how many children do you have? He said 26.
Oh.
And I said, well, how many moms? So he literally had to take my tablet and wrote down the names, 19 moms. This man just got his first apartment in his 60s, but he was able for 40 years to live with women and he had multiple kids the same year.
Jeez.
So I hope that answered your question.
It does. I would tend to think that women would be more likely to, but you're true, because I know instances. You're that's true.
Absolutely. And see, us men, we take advantage of that. We know it. We know that women hear that the shortage message. You know what I'm saying?
And it gets in our head, and we start believing that crap.
Absolutely.
So we think, well, there's a shortage, and more than likely the next one will probably do the same thing or something similar. So,
and then Janice, how many shows have I been on with you where I said we glamorize mistresses? We glamorize the side dudes now. You know what I'm saying? We glamorize it. You know, so the messages that are coming in, you know, I got mentees who are in their 20s and 30s. Now their friends who just got married 2 days ago, got mistresses already. You know what I'm saying? So they're starting this behavior first thing in their marriage. And then you fast forward for me and my friends who are in our 50s, I'm hearing my buddies in their 50s like, Khalid, I got a little friend. And then going back to the unfairness, my thing is, what if your wife was cheating on you? How would that movie play out? Khalid, it would be a sad day in Chicago if I found out.
These are the men who told you they have a little friend, and you bring that scenario, and they say it'll be a sad day if they find out, but they're doing it?
Yes. Because again, if I'm married to Janice, if I've been married to you for 20 plus years, and you know I've been out in the streets with other women, and you kept taking me back, and you made me go and see that old bald head Khalid Scott so he can make you feel good about us doing marriage therapy, but you took me back, then what is the incentive to give you fidelity?
There is none.
There is none.
I've emboldened him because I consistently took him back, and he's a serial cheater, and he knows it. I mean, that's, if you let anybody do that, then oh well, you know, she'll get pissed off, but she'll let me come back in.
Right. Right. And so now let me shift gears, Janice, because folks think I'm bashing men, but let me flip it now, because now that I'm working with married couples, and the majority of my married couples, 99% of them, is because of infidelity, correct? So now I let the wives, like I told you before, I let them know in the first session, this is just as much your fault as it is him.
Now that I don't quite understand but go ahead.
Because it's what I just said, Janice, is that
but some of them may not know. What if they don't know and it was brought to them and that's why they're coming to you?
Janice, one thing that I know and love about women, y'all natural detectives, and y'all have an instinct when something is out of order. And plus us men, we're lazy.
Okay.
So I go and sleep with my sidekick, and then I use her shampoo, Willow Springs.
You're
I come
right.
in the house at 10 o'clock and I smell like Willow Spring. And you like, wait a minute. Oh, babe, that's the kind of soap they had at the men's shower at the gym. No, they don't. No, they don't. You ain't gonna find no men's gym where it smell like Willow Spring soap. So women know, because our behaviors switch when we cheat. Men and women. It's just that women make sure they don't have loose ends. Y'all cut y'all loose ends off.
How does a man's behavior change when he cheats?
Because we're trying to play a master juggler. We're trying to play a master juggler. So I got you, my wife, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm being consistent with how I am with you. But then I got this new young lady, and I'm giddy. It's like a schoolboy crush.
Right.
But I know I got to turn it off when I get home. Right. But see, I don't. So what happens is, in the example I give, you send me a naked picture of you. So instead of me looking at it, lusting off of it, and deleting it, I leave it on my phone because I want to look at it at 2 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. And what happens is I go and take a shower. My wife knows my passcode, and boom, the picture is right there. Right? And so what happens is, but the reason why I can be lazy and kind of sloppy, I've done it 3 times to you already.
And you took me back then, so why not?
And you took me back. So now where's our queens with your self-esteem? And then again, Janice, remember, I grew up a son of a mistress. So I saw it play out in my face. Right. I know what the married man comes over to the house and says to the mistress. It's always, she don't treat me right. She don't give me peace in my house. Baby, I'm in love with you, but I got the kids. You know, you don't want me to hurt my kids, do you? You know, babe, you know what? This has just got to be like it is now, but let me work through this. Babe, I love you, but I'm in a situation. I wish I would have met you first instead of meeting her. But, babe, she got my money. If I leave her, I'm going to be broke. You know? Or he'll say, babe, you're the second woman. You signed up for that. Don't complain now. So what is a woman who wants love, what is she going to do with that? She says, okay, Valentine's Day is on the 15th of February.
Yep, a day after. Because holidays don't mean a lot to me anyway, so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But at least I got him on the 15th.
Right.
At least I got him on the 15th, and it's better than not having it all. Plus, I'm in control. He really loves me. He don't love her. He loves me. So I'm winning.
And that's how they start thinking that they're winning.
Yes. And then we watch TV shows again like Scandal that says, oh, you can be beautiful and brilliant and be the sad chick and you win. She got the president.
Someone said, we don't know everything. The problem is that we trust. So she's kind of not believing that we know everything and we know every time when they cheat. But I do agree that there is instinct. We do naturally and normally try to check out any deviation, anything that's different.
Janice,
But
let me ask you this question.
go ahead.
We've been knowing each other for years, correct?
Years, yes.
If I got in front of you and I wasn't smiling every 3 seconds and I was doing this, would that not seem weird to you?
I would ask you what's wrong.
You would ask me, because why, Janice?
Because it's out of the norm. It's out of your character.
Absolutely. You're used to me with a big smile. Hey. If I sit back like this, you like, something wrong with my boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. It kicks in because your pattern has changed on me. Your pattern has changed on me. And again, when I'm doing wrong, I gotta make you still love me, even though I'm doing wrong. I was looking at the Michelle A movie biopic last night.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. Okay.
And Dr. Dre used to beat her. He used to beat her. The first time he beat her, he was drunk, and he punched her like she was a punching bag, and then he fell over and started crying. She went and hugged him. But her grandmama, while she was growing up, kept telling her, baby, men gonna be men. You just gotta love them through it.
Some people have mistakenly told women that.
Yes. So this is what I mean. And again, I'm not going to beat up just men because my mother was a mistress. She was a woman. She knew better. My mother watched my grandmama get defeated because my granddaddy stepped out. So my mother knew better. So my mother would tell you, I wasn't a victim. I knew exactly what I was doing when I messed with that married man. So I'm not going to sit up here and say women are innocent. And if my daughter came to me and she said, Daddy, my husband cheated on me, the first question is, Anaya, baby, are you okay? Daddy, I'm just here. Anaya, next question, how long you've known about it? Do not lie to your daddy. How long have you known about it before it got official? Because I believe that every woman has an inkling that something is going on.
And if Anaya told you that, and if she said, I'm just finding out about it, how would you counsel her?
Then what I would do is like, baby, let's take a journey. Tell me when he started doing something that was out the norm, right? And then, baby, tell me this, and this is going to be most importantly. What did you start doing differently with him?
Huh?
What did you stop doing differently with him?
Where did that come from?
Because what happens is what I'm learning by counseling married people, that something triggers men. We don't think it, but sometimes triggers men to go out and cheat. So, sweet pea, and I'm not saying the women do it on purpose to be mean, but then I am saying it. I had a friend say, dude, my wife works 12-hour days. But I'm like, brother, she tried. Khalid, we've got 4 paychecks coming in this house. You ain't got to work 12-hour days. I'm sitting up here cooking for the kids. I'm sitting up here alone. I'm telling her, babe, come on, dial it back. I need you at home. You come in, we don't make love except for one time a month. When a man starts telling his truth, you better listen. Because we don't do it often. We don't do it often. But when we start telling you our truth, you better open those ears and listen. See, but again, this sounds weird, don't it? Because why? We're not used to talking about the man side of things.
No, we aren't. Particularly when they're wrong, when they're in the wrong.
Absolutely.
In this case.
Absolutely. But if a woman cheated, the first thing you would be like, what did he do to make you go out and cheat?
No, I wouldn't.
Most people, Janice.
Maybe I would.
I know you would like, girl, what you think it was? What you think it was? But see, we always make women victims and men villains. And what I'm telling you people is stop doing that, because you cause a hierarchy.
Right.
And it's never even. Make them both superheroes who had a bad day.
So you believe that women that stay with men who cheat or have been with a partner who cheats, they have self-esteem issues? I want to expand on that.
Number one issue.
Really, self-esteem?
Number one issue. Janice, if I'm your man and I smack you, are you leaving me?
I'm cutting you.
Why?
Because if you smack me, you've offended me, and I'm defending myself by cutting you.
Do you have high self-esteem?
Yeah. That's why I'm going to cut you.
Enough said. You just answered the question. But if my esteem, if I feel low, if I don't feel worthy, if I don't think I could go out and get another good guy, then you know what? I know the monster inside my house. I don't know the monster outside. So I might as well deal with the monster that's inside the house.
That's true.
Yes. 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 And guys, I know it's so easy to hear me as like, oh, Khalid. But if you think I'm wrong, and you know my thing is, go out there and do the research. Go out there and interview your friends who've been cheated on and listen to their testimonies. Just don't go by just your feelings. Come out of your feelings. Go into your logic and go and ask every one of your, Janice, do it this week. Go find 5 of your friends or sisters who've been cheated on and ask them, tell me the truth. Did you have was it an indicator that he was doing it? And I bet you at least 4 out of the 5 said it was something going on, but I just kind of ignored it. I promise you. I promise you. Because men are not that slick. They're not.
They're not that smart. Okay.
We like routine. We like routine. If that's my routine to come and sit on the couch at 6 o'clock with the remote control and a beer, 7 days a week, unless I got to go somewhere, I'm going to be on that couch with my remote control and my Schlitz malt liquor. We like routine. When we out of our routine, we start acting different.
And you're kind of saying, which is an interesting point, when you come home acting different to me, then I'm going to act different, intuitive. Something's going to change.
Yes. 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 And so now let's talk about women who cheat.
Oh, why do you want to talk about women who cheat? Okay, go ahead.
Because we at 6:30 and we're at the halfway point. And see, I love women enough to know, let me call you on your stuff too.
Call it.
So, women who cheat, the reason why I think women don't get caught all the time, because if you questioned it, look at Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh, Lord, what? Oh, what a bad example. Anyway, go on.
But it's the best example of why you can, as a woman, you can't ever get caught. That woman has now been called. They said that there are 584 derogatory terms for women when women step out. When a man cheats, what does he get called, Janice?
A garden tool, a hoe, a dog, a cheater, whatever.
So 3, 4.
Whatever.
3 or 4. Women get called 584 terms.
584?
584 terms. Think about it.
Well,
how many times
there's a double standard? I mean,
right. Because again, women are put on a certain level of a pedestal. Then how dare you do that? How dare you lay down with multiple men? Think about when you watching the Maury show and you got that woman on there who got a baby and she thought it was another guy, but then it ended up being 4 guys had to get tested.
Yeah.
What was the first thought that you had of her?
Oh, the little girl's kind of out there a little bit.
Okay, Janet. Okay. I wish I was a fly on your wall. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But what I'm saying with Jada is that how dare her hurt Will? Will has always been the good guy. You know, he has been this pristine role model of the safe Black man, right? And now she has corrupted him. She has corrupted him. She has a love for Tupac. She slept with her son's 23-year-old.
That was crazy.
Correct.
He had mental issues. He's living in her house, and he's her baby's friend. But, you know.
So, but then we got D. Wade. He has a whole baby outside the relationship. And people like, well, they did take a little break. But remember, Jada said the same thing. Me and Will took a little break.
But wait now, because you're talking about D. Wade and Gabrielle Union, right?
Yes.
Now, is this fact or fiction? I don't know. You read so much, you can't really decipher the truth.
Right. I
Did
can
Gabrielle
only go by
Union,
the language they use, and they both said we were on break.
They did, but didn't Gabrielle Union mess around with him when he was still with his wife?
Absolutely. So look how many names we call her when she was messing around with Siobhan's husband.
That's
Siobhan is from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So that's our home girl. You know. So people was like, "That's what she get." Like Wendy, that's what she get.
Why did Wendy
get it? Barbie down.
Why did they say Wendy get it? Because Wendy talk about everybody.
Right. Right. So that's what I'm saying. When a woman does something, man, we're gonna burn her at the stake. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is, let's burn both of them at the stake, and then let's grab them, have some empathy and sympathy, and say, come on, let's start doing better. Let's start doing better.
Let's just kind of go back to Jada, because particularly, you know, and I know the slap has been talked about ad nauseum. You know, everybody tired about hearing it, but I haven't talked to you about it. I haven't talked to you about it at all.
Yeah.
In your perspective, do you think he slapped him to hold up for Jada's honor because the man was making a joke about her alopecia? Or do you think he slapped her because he was trying to hold up for his honor because he's been embarrassed by all the different little things that's been going on and he's been looking like a little punk?
Right. And my answer is like on the Iowa test or the ACT and the SAT, all the above.
Okay.
All the above. That man is tired.
I know. He had a break.
Tired.
He had a break.
He couldn't even get a break on the night that was supposed to be his.
That's what, you know what I don't understand. As women, we have a lot of power. We have a whole lot of power. If I'm out with you and you're getting accolades for something and somebody says something to me and you're offended and you stand up, I grab your arm and turn around and look at you like, sit your butt down.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Right. And the thing is, and he's going to bounce back from this. Let me throw this out.
This cancel culture bothers me because they're canceling.
Right. But he's going to bounce back.
Okay.
But time has to pass. And of course, it will never be the same as it was before because now it's a blemish on him. But he'll bounce back because what he's going to do is probably in July, August, September, he's going to sit down with Oprah. You know what I'm saying? Wow. And then in her Hawaii location, just like Viola did, just like the Duchess and whatever, Prince, whatever his name was, did. And he's going to give his side of it. And he's going to be brought to tears. And Oprah's going to grab his hand. And then we're going to be like, okay. Because remember, we already demonized Jada already. We've demonized her.
And do you think we were hard on her? You think?
Yes, absolutely, we're hard on her. And by right, yes, she did wrong. Because any other woman should have said, babe, sit your ass down.
Thank you. That's what we do. That's what we do.
You know, I'll go and mess him up after the show. I don't
Thank you.
I'll go and get him.
That's
but
how
babe,
we do.
Don't do this.
Don't do this. That's right. That's what we do.
Don't mess up our money. Don't mess up our money.
Thank you.
Don't mess up our money. And that's why if you listen to black men, we're defending Will Smith. We like, brother, you was wrong. But like most men in history, a woman's influence led us to do something that we shouldn't have done. And is that fair? No. Because at the end of the day, Will has the power of choice. He has the power of choice. He knew at that moment, I could sit down, shake my head and point to like, okay, man, I'm gonna get you. But he decided on the biggest stage that night, let me show y'all what I'm made of. Let Philly come out, because I'm tired of y'all calling me gay. I'm tired of y'all talking about how weird my 2 kids are. I'm tired of y'all calling my wife bald-headed and a HO. I'm tired of y'all doing all this stuff to me and my family. I have had enough. And if I can go and unleash on somebody who is safe to unleash on.
And he was safe. That's why
Yeah. So it goes back to my initial conversation with you, Janice. Infidelity has all of these threads of destruction.
Someone mentioned something good when I think about destruction, and I thought this was interesting. Tiger Woods. Remember Tiger Woods?
Yes, indeed.
Tiger Woods was a garden tool. I didn't know he was out there so much, had all these different women. And I guess his wife found out, little pretty girl took the that was kind
absolutely.
But not only that, he spiraled down too.
Absolutely. And from what I heard, she knew.
Did she?
But of course, I used to be a nanny. Now I'm married to one of the richest black men in America. I'm okay to keep my mouth shut. Look at Juanita Jordan. Has Juanita Jordan ever came out and discussed what Michael Jordan did to her?
I don't know how much she knew. I know she's Chicago.
Everybody
girl.
knew it's Chicago, babe. You could not live in Chicago and not know what Michael Jordan was doing. It was so obvious. She took her $168 million.
Yeah, I
and
get
her 3 babies in that Highland Park mansion, and she lived her life because she understood, I'm divorced from him. Let the new wife have to deal with that garbage. I got my children and I got my money, and now I have my peace.
And that means everything.
And that should mean everything. And that should be so. She is one y'all should be looking at. Like, that's how you do it. Because she did it gangster style. She was quiet about when a gangster come after you, he's quiet.
And you don't even know they coming.
You don't know it coming. She went after them, got her loot, got her children, and she moved. So that's what I'm telling the wives that I'm working with in sessions. I got to help build your self-esteem up, because if you want this to be the last time your husband has cheated on you, he has to know that it's now your non-negotiable.
That's right.
Cheat on me again if you want to. Mr. Scott, can you please give me the lawyer's telephone number? And Janice, listen to this. I know about 7 divorce lawyers. They making loot right now.
Really?
They making loot. Their retainers used to be $1,500, $2,000. Now the average retainer is $5,000 now.
Why they go up so much? Because of the demand?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
Yes, ma'am. The pandemic said, leave the joker. I ain't got to take you no more. So this is the destruction that's happening with infidelity.
A prime example about that.
You said what now?
No, finish your thought. Then
this is why I preach so much about why we got to start doing better. Janice, when my 4 male friends came over to my house 4 Saturdays in a row, telling me that, man, I'm having challenges with my wife, I told all 4 of them, thank you for trusting me enough to tell me your story, your side of the story. But this is what I need you to do. Do not look inside at me and my house, because I got smoke and mirrors up in here. I know I make single life look good, but it's good for Khalid.
Right.
It may not be good for you. Go back home and work it out with your wife. But it starts with you valuing her. Because now, guys, we in our 50s. Pretty soon, we're going to be wearing colostrophe bags. And is that pretty little 30-something-year-old, she going to sit up there and change your bed for you? I don't know. You answer that question.
Do you want to get married again, Khalid?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Not?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because marriage is not what it, and it's never been, Janice. It's just that two people came together to create a legacy. That's the wonderful thing about a marriage. But everything else that goes with it is heartbreaking. Janice, I make phenomenal money off of misery. Off of misery. I was able to quit my second job, sis, after 22 and a half years because the private practice is booming.
And I understand that, and I get that, but it just seems like, particularly for a guy like you, wouldn't you want someone to share that?
Let me explain, because maybe we missed a memo.
Maybe we did. I'm just
Women
wondering.
are okay with what you put out there. A whole lot of women are okay with. I got a buddy now. He got 8 kids by 6 women, and they never been married. And he will tell you, I will never get married, but he always has a place to lay his head. And he's never been somebody's husband. So there are women. And the women he messing with ain't Tamika at Harold's Chicken. They principals. They're business women. They're CEOs. They're judges.
And they may feel the same way. Maybe they don't want to get married either.
Absolutely. Like, you know what? Let's get together. You could be my companionship. We're gonna go to the Frankie Beverly Mays concert.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna get something to eat at Gibson's. We're gonna go back home, woo, 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 and then you take your butt home.
Do you believe in marriage, or do you think for the most part?
I sure do. I sure do. Do you not see my passion, sis? I love marriage, especially when it's good. But look what it takes to try to get to the good place. Why did I have to tell 4 men in their 50s who've been married to their wives for 20 plus years to go home and fight for their marriage?
And 2 of them probably won't, or probably stop fighting.
Explain it to me, Janice. You're the holy sister.
No, you know what, Khalid? We're not gonna go down that route.
I'm on the right side of the mountain.
Speaking of holy, let's talk about John Gray.
John Gray, that wonderful segue.
Wait. Woo. He came home crying. Yeah, let's talk about him.
Yes, that was a wonderful segue. You read my mind. So see how we work in sync with each other?
Of course.
Now this dude. See, I got an issue when God blesses you and give you the gift to be on his pulpit and you do wrong. And I don't want to hear no critics about they're still human men. Janice, I've been a social worker, look at all that, for 29 years. If you heard I was giving Anaya black eyes, what would you think of me?
Hypocrite.
I've worked 29 years to make sure kids live good lives, but then I'm going to come home and beat my own kid?
Wrong on so many levels.
So I go to divinity school. Go back. I get called by God to get on that pulpit and try to help make people's lives a little better. And then I'm getting up here because I got a reality TV show and I'm talking about I cheated on my wife. And then my wife gets on stage behind me. Leave him alone. Leave him alone.
How does he counsel a woman after doing that multiple times?
You tell me. See, Janice, I'm not a woman. Though I empathize with y'all and I love y'all to death, I don't have y'all mind because I still have logic. You tell me. You tell me. If you was the preacher's wife and he cheated on a woman in the congregation.
Oh, dear.
You tell me. Tell me, sis.
Wow. I know. And it wasn't just one time. Then when
Absolutely.
and then when he got up there crying, it's like, no, he didn't. And she's taking up for him, telling everybody to leave him alone.
Yeah. Tell your sister Cynthia, tell her to type in the answer, because I know she loves typing in answers. So tell me, Cynthia, why does that happen? You know, I'm just playing with her. But
she will type in the answer.
Absolutely. But again, it's another example of the contradiction. Because now you, as a first lady, you're telling the women out in the audience, if your man do this to you, forgive him, which you should, because forgiveness is about your well-being. But you're supposed to have some wisdom. Because if John Gray knew that you was going to go and see Johnny Cochran and Associates, I don't know, maybe he might get some act right. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. But again, it's always going to be scenarios like this because we're not doing right. Janice, I sent you the text message when Megan Good married old boy from 2013. I sent you the text message. In 2013, when they got married, I wrote a post. Let's see how long they last.
I know, and that was offensive. I said, why would he do that?
I'm a man of God. My wife, Khalid Scott, and every Negro in Chicago and every other U.S. state should not know what my wife's breasts look like. And I don't give a damn because she's a Hollywood actress. You are not supposed to know what my wife's breasts look like, and I'm a man of God. I want somebody to fight me on that one because you'll lose. And look what has happened. And now that she has divorced him, she back there coloring her hair blonde, wearing mini dresses, showing her body off because that was her in the beginning.
Right.
She didn't do a transition. She wrote a best-selling book with this man, and they went on tour. They cursing people out like, stop judging us, stop judging us. It's because people have discernment, and we know when you're right and when we know when you're not right. Again, let me use my daughter example. I'm a social worker, but my daughter acts like Cardi B. You will look at me, won't you, Janice?
Yeah, I would be like, Khalid.
Yeah, what did Khalid not do?
Right.
If Anaya out here acting like Cardi B. But my daughter acts like Michelle Obama. So it's in sync of what I talk about.
It's consistent, right?
It's consistent.
Someone said, should wedding vows be amended, allowing for safe exit?
Yes.
No, I'm just saying, should they?
Ladybug, I love you. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's already in the Bible, isn't it? That infidelity is one of the reasons you can get a divorce.
Yeah, there are reasons to put a man away. There are definitely reasons.
Yeah. Who else did we have on the list? I'm forgetting.
We had Wendy Williams, Jada Pinkett, Beyonce, Gabriel Union, John Gray. There was somebody else on there. Haley Berry wasn't on there, was she?
Who?
Haley Berry. I don't think she was on there.
No, that's old news.
Well, because now she's in Love, which is so nice.
We covered all. We covered all of them.
I think we covered all of them.
And again, tonight is going to be more. Like last time we met, later on that night was the Will Smith smack.
It sure what? Wait, again, you're judging. What do you mean you're judging? Cynthia, I don't know what that means. Who's judging? Did we say something? I don't know. Maybe we, but I thought you made an interesting point, and I think people should take note to this. Not trying to get religious or anything like that, but you talked about you didn't talk about the grace. You talked about Megan Good. And what you're basically saying was he was a pastor, a preacher, and he married this girl who was a Hollywood star. And not that a Hollywood star and a preacher can't get together, but the kind of Hollywood star she was, and all men should see her breasts. The Bible talks about being equally yoked. Yes. And when you put that down there, I said, don't just doom them. Don't say nothing like that. But you were absolutely right. They never did explain what happened with the demise, but I could imagine. And now she's going a little bit out there. Well, a lot of times when women get divorced, they you know,
yeah.
They do things anyway. But now it's unfortunate. I thought they were a beautiful couple.
Yeah, and they were. But what I'm saying is, if you're going out here making money advertising that you're that couple, then be consistent with it. Like I remember she did an interview and they said, well, how does your husband feel about you doing love scenes? She said that my husband's like, make our money, make it look real on screen.
I don't believe it. I mean, I don't
look it up on YouTube if you don't believe me. Absolutely.
I don't believe he feel like that, but maybe it is. I don't know.
Proof is in the pudding. And again, it's not about judging. It's saying this is what's out here. Janice, there's no way I could come on your show every fourth Sunday for the rest of this year, and I still will have topics to talk about.
Well, I'm going back to something because it kind of unnerved me. I know I'm cynical and I feel kind of how you do, but because you're an advocate for marriage and you're an advocate for people staying married and you talk to people all the time and you want them to work it out. You want them to stay in a marital union, and you know what it's doing to our community, the breakup, the demise of marriages. You know what it's doing to our children. So why are you so against ever getting married again?
Because for me, when God put us on this earth, he puts us, even twins, he puts us here as individuals. My script doesn't have to read like your script. I got from marriage what I needed to get out of marriage.
Anaya.
I got my daughter, I got my home, and I got me going through a divorce made me a better social worker, believe it or not.
I believe that.
Because I had to learn what true hurt looks like and devastation looks like and how you rise from it. So I don't ever need to go through it again. I've been married, done that, and I wrote the memo afterwards.
Okay, then I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm not gonna go and
right. But now listen, somebody may change my mind. I doubt it, but it could happen.
But they could.
But it could happen. But right now, in this season of my life, I like solo Khalid.
I'll buy that.
He's taking care of his business.
Someone said I was always like Haley Berry. It wasn't that I couldn't keep the man. I didn't want to.
Woo!
And I'm so glad she said this because I'm so tired of people trashing women that are over 35 and saying that we're leftovers and saying that, you know, you should just do everything for a man because nobody wants you anyway. They want younger people. So I'm so glad.
Right. And let me explain that because that's Kevin Samuels.
Yeah.
What amazes me is that man now has 1 million followers.
1 million?
And number 2, every night he has a series of women who get on his show and let that man berate them.
And he does berate them.
My daughter even said, Daddy, because she thinks I like him. I said, no, Anaya, what happens is he says the things that men talk about. That's what I can value. But I do not co-sign on how he treats women.
And talk to them.
But he cannot treat women if they don't log on.
They not only log on, they're on FaceTime Live or StreamYard or whatever.
Yes.
Their pictures showing.
And literally he curses them out. He curses them out and they stay on the phone with him.
And sometimes he'll hang up on him. Shut the F up. And I'm
so
like,
my thing is, I can't victimize you if you are not my victim. These women volunteer to go on his show.
They think they can change his mind, or
your boy Derek Jackson. He's building his audience back up.
No, he's not.
Go and check YouTube.
Is him and his wife back together?
They never left each other.
I thought, what?
Come on, Janice, you know that she never left.
I know she was looking all shabby and pitiful, but I thought she left. I thought she just said, oh.
Why would she leave her football playing millionaire husband? Why would she? And he was brilliant how he showcased her. He was brilliant.
Why? He showcased her looking homely. Why was that brilliant? She looked homely. She's sitting up there looking old.
sweetheart, because he know how women think. If women see my wife looking like Beyonce, why you cheating on her?
Yes.
But because she looked discombobulated, that's why he cheating on her. He can be with me.
They're always thinking
about
the
brilliant.
next one.
It was brilliant.
They're always thinking about the next one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, well, Janice, me and you will always have something to talk about.
As always, it has been a pleasure. So you
know
what I know it's 7. I can't believe it's 7 already, but you're going to have to think about something for next month.
Yes, I already got the topic.
You do?
I sure do. I'll send you the flyer.
Oh, good. So we will continue our, I'm curious, Relationship Sunday next month, and it'll be with Dr. Scott, with Khalid Scott. And we appreciate you so much being on here. And you know what? I want you to start. I want to somehow grow this podcast so you'll have 1 million listeners.
There you go.
Come on. You're giving solid information. And after a certain threshold, then we want to talk about monetizing it. But we'll talk that later. Anyway, on that note, I want to tell everyone, have a blessed week. I'll be here next week, same time, 6:00. Wave at Khalid, say thanks he was here. We all love him. And I'm still looking for his wife for him, so he don't want to hear that. But we gonna love you too. All right, everyone. Signing off from Voices of Change. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.
That is so funny.